Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, the first video, and hopefully it's going to be the first of many. So for today's video, I am going to be talking about what is a health coach and if you need one. So what is a health coach? A health coach is somebody like me. I'm a graduate of the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which is based here in New York. And in that school, we've learned all the majority, if not the whole, dietary theories that are out there and how to apply them in order to help, people who are going through something or nothing, just like help them promote a better lifestyle. And in that we focus a lot on just like wellness and lifestyle and healthy living in general in a very organic and holistic approach. So some of us, you've probably seen them out there. We basically say we are a holistic health coach just because of the approach that we use. Some would probably, you'd see their names being like, nutrition health coach or just health coach or integrative health coach, So basically we are people who have a passion for helping others. Most of us have had our own, stories or things that we've gone through, and that has been the reason why we enrolled in this school, or we have this really organic compassion towards what other people might be going through, just out of our own personal experience. A holistic health coach does not claim to be a doctor or a psychologist or a registered dietitian or a nutritionist of whatsoever. We are just basically people who are armed with lots of knowledge and compassion, and I think that's our biggest strength in that sense. So that being said, I hope I've kind of cleared that up. Who is a person who would need a holistic health coach or a health coach? Anyone needs a health coach. I've had a health coach who's held me accountable to goals I've set for myself, something I was going through in the moment. So in general, anyone can do with a health coach because it's just this person who's by your side supporting you. Most of the clients I have are people who, the majority are usually like the most common cases you'd see is weight loss. So it's someone who has graduation coming up and wants to look a certain way, or someone who just gave birth, or just someone who's just dealing with weight loss issues. Especially people who yo-yo a lot, like their weight goes up and down. That's like someone who would need a health coach because she would guide you into finding what type of lifestyle suits you best and help you accomplish your goals. Other clients are people who are going through PCOS, and we all know that everything starts in the gut. So just like improving what you eat and the way you sleep and your stress levels would have such a positive effect on helping you battle PCOS. People who binge eat, emotional eaters, they improve so much with the guide of a health coach. The thing about health coaching is that there's so much consciousness and awareness now when it comes to eating because social media and everything. So you would think that now we know, soda's bad for you. I drank soda as a kid. Most parents will not let their kids drink soda, hopefully. But the thing is, with so much information out there, there's also so much confusion, so you don't really know if what you're doing is right. Like, for example, the AHA just came out saying that coconut oil is bad for you. Coconut oil has been like the glory for the past 10 years, and now all of a sudden it's bad for you. So I can imagine the confusion that can come out from that. Also, there are so many fad diets, and I've tried personally all the fad diets out there. I mean, there are many fad diets, and I know the common ones are, the paleo, raw vegan. The ketogenic diet now is something that's really in. The vegetarian, low carb, high carb, Atkins is back. There's like so many. There's the eat an apple a day, only an apple a day diet. There's the don't eat diet. There's like restricting your calories. There are so many diets out there. But the truth is, the only thing these diets have in common is that they all claim to be the solution to anything that you're going through. And that's really far from the truth, because just because you saw someone on YouTube or a celebrity buy a certain type of diet in their life, it worked for them, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So this is when the yo-yoing comes in. You stick to something for a month and then you get off it, and then you gain the pounds back, and then you feel sluggish and out of energy again. Or some people even go through the extent of like being on a diet and just having no energy and thinking like this is one of the reactions that you are meant to have while you are on a diet, and that is far from the truth. The only true thing about a diet is that it has a beginning and an end. It isn't a lifestyle change, and that's when a health coach comes in. One of the best things of our school, I think, and that makes us stand out from going to a common nutritionist or a doctor, is that we believe in bioindividuality, and we know very well that one person's cure might be another person's poison. So when you have a session with a health coach, I'll explain what that would be like, time period and everything. I don't go to my client with like, a program in hand and this is what I'm gonna say and this is what she's supposed to do. No, it's very organic. Things start happening with the conversation and we create something in that moment. It's very spontaneous and it's very tailored to her and her needs and what she thinks is best for her. So that is something called bioindividuality, and this is something the founder Joshua came up with. And I am so happy to say that there are many people that I have been following for years now on YouTube and Instagram that had this strict calorie intake and carb intake and what so, that are now talking about bioindividuality. And I think that is great, because there is nothing better than acknowledging that everyone is different and what works for me will not work for you. So that's the difference between our approach to wellness than other practitioners or authorities in wellness. Another thing about health coaching is that the holistic approach is that your body will heal yourself. Like, the most thing you can trust in life is that your body is on your side. It's not your enemy. Whatever you're feeling is not that your body is against you. These are just signals, but your body, if given half the chance, will heal itself. And that is like incredible, the results that you would see once a person acknowledges that, versus thinking the whole time that my body doesn't function, my body this, my body that, the negative streaming in the head of your body. And I'll just comment lastly, what one of the most amazing things about our nutrition school is that we've learned something called primary foods, and that we know that even if you eat all the kale in the world and all the fruits and have this perfectly organized diet and food prepping and portioning and whatever it is that comes with organizing your life around food, if you are lacking love in your life, if you aren't happy in your career, if your relationship isn't good, if you aren't socializing, there are so many aspects that come in that the kale won't do anything for you. And that's something called primary food, and this is something your health coach would focus on with you. So for example, I used to be a binge eater. I just thought that like I'm a person who has no control over what I want to eat, and once a week I went crazy and I just ate everything in front of me, whether it was healthy or not. I just couldn't control myself. I used to think that was normal, that was just who I am. I have no control over myself, and I'd beat myself and feel guilty, like you're just a cow in your head, whatever and then I started noticing the patterns that would lead me to want to binge eat. And I realized that it was every time a situation came up or was about to come up that would cause anxiety in me, I'd binge eat. So for example, if my husband was going to come and we were going to have a conversation about work and it was going to make me anxious and I knew we were going to argue about it and different opinions, I would start binging. I would binge before he'd come in, I'd binge throughout the conversation, and I'd binge after the conversation is like way past done, and he'd just like look at me and she was like, she's a psycho, she's gone completely mad, like how much chocolate can she possibly eat, So I used to think that I was alone in this and this was just me being a cow. And it turns out that just discovering that this is how I react to anxiety, discovering that this is the tool I use, changed my life forever. It changed the way I approach anxiety now. It changed the way I noticed that I'm going to be anxious about a certain situation, and now I know how to approach it versus just eating my gut out, So this is something that is called primary foods, and this is something a health coach would really work on with you to discover what are the underlying, causes for the symptoms that you have or the things that you're going through. Lots of people seek health coaches because they have no energy whatsoever, and they know that if you would take the cup of coffee at 4 p.m. from their life or at 7 a.m. they would die. So these are people who are basically just, you know, thriving on the fight or fly mode, you know. So they seek health coaches, people with brain fog, and sometimes you have people who just, there are things they want to accomplish and they feel like if they had someone who would hold them accountable to it, then they would accomplish it. So they seek a health coach. So you'd have someone who wants to run, I don't know, a marathon in the next 6 months, and then the health coach would be there to keep them accountable and help them plan things out and stuff like that. Usually our health coaching programs, mine personally and most of the graduates of my school, remember I'm talking about IIN, and the way we approach health coaching in IIN. There are many schools of health coaching, not as good as ours, but this is how we approach it. A health coaching program is for 6 months. You would meet with your coach for an hour, twice a month for 6 months, and you can always renew the program. The reason why it's 6 months is because this is the time needed for you to take a habit, break it, change it, apply it, and stick to it. And it's not a 21-day change, and it's not once a month approach. It's not, oh, I went, you know, to the doctors and she gave me this prescription and this is what I'm going to apply now on my own. No, it's very organic. It does need time. And once you're done with the program, the amount of change that you see is just incredible, that some people even like stick to the program for another 6 months or even 2 years, whatever it is that works for them, just because people sometimes underestimate the amount of support that they need and they feel ashamed or shy to ask for it. And in the world that we live in now, where everyone is so busy, everything is so chaotic, your friends aren't listening to you when you're talking, your partner is going through their own thing, so sometimes you really do feel alone, and just talking to someone who's, you know, completely there for you, completely compassionate and loving you, is more than enough, and such a relief, and it just takes the stress off of you, and sometimes it solves the whole problem and makes you feel so much better. So that's why we take a 6-month approach to things. And once you're done with the 6-month program, you would have had enough information and put into practice everything suggested to you, everything you suggested to yourself. Realize so many things that you have enough tools to spend the rest of your life, you know, being healthy. The thing is, our mentality is, why would I invest in my health, you know? There's nothing wrong with me now, or if I have this issue, it will go away on its own. And the truth is, it's not gonna go away. Your body's going nowhere. If you're suffering now with something, you'll probably be suffering with it for the rest of your life if you don't do something about it. And if you think life is short, it isn't. I mean, this whole thing where, oh, life is so short. Hello, if you're 30, you still have approximately 50 more years to live. So it isn't that short at all. Actually quite long. Especially when you take advantage of it and you live a life of abundance, full of energy. And another thing is, you've probably had, like, if you're 30, you've probably had 30,000 meals. You still have 50,000 more meals to go. You want those meals to be good. You want them to be nutritious. You want to feel good. You want to live life. And the way you eat is the way you live. And the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Always remember that. So I personally, not just because I'm a health coach, I love what the health coaching is doing to the world. You probably don't realize this, but the health coaches are behind school changes, you know, what you're feeding your kids. They're like the police that goes to fast food places and makes them change ingredients that they're using. So they're everywhere. These people are passionate about what they do, and that's the only reason they do it. It's just to give more wellness to the world, you know? And that's why I love it. And that's why I do it. So I hope with this video, I've cleared up what health coaching is and whether you need one. If you would like to try a health coach session for free, the first session, you can email me at my email down that's linked in the bottom, and we can set something up. And that's it for today. See you later.